Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another NIKKE reaction. Today we have Abyss of the World. This one apparently also has a secondary version like the remix that Cosmograph always does, but this is a Cosmograph song to begin with, so that's going to be one of those weird tracks where I'm going to get to hear Cosmo and then Cosmo's VIP of it, which for those who don't know, that is the distinction. If it's a remix by the same person, it's a VIP, not a remix. Just a fun little music thing there. It's just very common in the EDM scene to use that terminology, but that's also completely irrelevant, all things beside. So I'm just gonna start listening to this song, see what it's like, and of course I'll get to hear both of them back to back. So without further ado, let's go. Strong start. Ooh. There's already a lot of fun instrumental layering in this one. Ooh, God. Okay, Cosmo. You're waking me up. I didn't expect this sound. This is very different from what I've heard out of Cosmo recently. Entirely different. Those strong impacts on every phrase. That bass is sick too. Like, for those who can hear that low of the tone in there. Just kind of bouncing around. It sounds really neat. It's got to be a synth, but it's just so subtly nestled down in the bottom. Almost a sub bass, like it's really low in there. Very subtle, all things considered. Love the vocal sampling too. Beautiful work. I really love that bass. It's just like something about the way he produces it is so, it's clean, but it's like, oh, we're right into the, I honestly forgot we have a different song to listen to now. Time for the VIP. So far, it's just faster pace, really. The additional vocals. I mean, he always does that for the remix versions, but I love the extra pump up with all the extra drums and everything in here too. Still loving that bass line. That is so sick. I really want to know how he did that. Okay. Cosmo's over here like, I don't need NieN. I can do my own sick-ass solo. I love that little flute passage here too. There's just so many good things about it. I haven't mentioned it yet. It's so weird that this song is like, it's fairly conservative, all things considered, but I mean, it's doing everything it needs to so damn well. Cosmo's doing Cosmo things. Really good guitar solo. It really is. And now we get the fade out. We've heard both versions twice. Damn, Cosmo. Really doesn't need NieN's help sometimes, you know? So quick correction, that actually was NieN playing the guitar. I did not see NieN's name in the description earlier. I don't know how I didn't, but I didn't. I skimmed right over it. But yep, that's NieN. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually. It felt very like NieN's guitar playing. The style was very much similar to his, so I'm like, probably is NieN, but then I was like, I don't remember seeing NieN's name. It must be Cosmo just kind of trying to get that NieN feel and just doing a good job. But nope, it's just NieN, which also definitely tracks, so I'm not going to second guess that or think about it anymore. It's NieN. It makes sense. I'm totally fine with that. But overall composition, as far as I'm aware, especially from the description again, is all Cosmo this time. So it wasn't just NieN doing something and then Cosmo remixing it. It was Cosmo making this whole theme, still doing a VIP to it, but then also having NieN do their part over it, which is more normal for that situation. I thought it was just 100% Cosmo this time around. But in general, there was a lot of good about this song, as there always is with these. Like, at some point, I swear I'm not going to be able to get to more of these because I'm going to be stepping over the exact same opinions every single time. The production, it's Cosmograph. Hasn't failed me yet, probably never will. The production is solid as hell. Post-production and even the main production of this one, just insane all the way through. I loved the flute in there. That bass is still kind of interesting to me in like a bugging me sort of way. Like, I gotta know how he produced that. What was he doing there? It sounds so simple, but I feel like there's something in there that makes it feel so standout and unique at the same time that I haven't heard something quite that smooth in a bass line yet. I'm not entirely sure what sort of sequencing or processing was done to be able to get that effect, but it sounded so good. There was this like pulsating frequency to it underneath it that didn't quite feel entirely just like sidechaining would, like when you apply sidechaining to a bass and it's just dipping whenever the main chunk of the song is in there and vice versa. It didn't feel like that. It felt like its own separate, maybe a separate side chain with like a completely different piece of the instrumental that we weren't really hearing, and it was just kind of there for texture, and adding a little bit of that rhythmic variance in there, because that's what was bugging me. It just sounded like it was kind of side chained to a drum we weren't hearing, and it gave it this very distinguishable sort of pulse throughout the entire track, and that was super neat. And then of course just the bass frequency itself being so smooth, it didn't have any texture in there at all. It was so smooth, which felt really nice with all the other texture going on in here. The voices, the chants were phenomenal, having all that texture in there. The flutes, great on the flutes again, love that. I have no arguments, as I usually don't. Again, it's Cosmo. How many times am I gonna have to make one of these videos where I'm just like, hell yeah, it's a Cosmo song, and I have nothing of value to add because I said so much about Cosmo's production already, and NieN's guitar playing already. It's like, how many more videos can I make about these songs that aren't just me going, sounds great, and then moving on without anything constructive or additional to say, when that's something I try to do every time, because I don't want to just skip through and be like, it sounds good, come back next time. That's such a cop-out way. I'm trying to think of things that I can talk about in a more detailed format to inform you who are watching this about music and production to what I can, at least. And every single time I hear a new one, especially these like dual uploads of the original song and then a VIP or a remix of it, here we are. It's the same things, not the same songs by far. It's always different, it's always unique, but the production's by the same people and they sound kind of the same as a result for it, so I can't like really dig too deep into what they're doing technique wise, because I feel like I've already tread that ground 50 times over at this point. But this one especially was just more unique than the other ones because of the genre they were doing it in, but that also doesn't mean that it makes it easier to discuss the technicalities of it, down to, okay, well, you're doing this, you're doing the same things with mixing every single time, for example. It's not really anything worth retreading. It's just like, hey, they did something in a different genre, that's really cool, I like what they did. But all their standard production tricks are all about the same, and NieN's guitar is always going to be brilliant, so I can't really talk about that anymore. I've already talked myself blue about it. It's just brilliant every goddamn time. I could maybe get into the scalability of this one a little bit more, because this did have a different atmosphere than the usual ones do, the other ones being mostly the big boss energy you usually expect out of a game that has bosses, these giant creatures that you're fighting, and their scale is huge. But this one is separate from those in that this one 100% feels more like you're fighting an area. It doesn't feel like you're fighting a creature or a thing. You're fighting an area, weirdly. It's just got so much more of that scale to it, not limited to, oh, here is a person, here is a monster that I'm fighting. This feels like you're walking through mountains, and not just because of the imagery either. This is entirely in the song. This feels like an adventuring track, not necessarily a boss theme. And I don't know if that's accurate at all. I don't know if there's any merit to that statement. It probably is just a boss theme, but that boss fight's location must be a beautiful, picturesque location, probably similar to what we are seeing in the visuals here. Something that just goes on for miles, and it kind of makes you have that moment of reflection on yourself, like, God, I am small, aren't I? And it's a different sort of small from, oh shit, that's a really big creature. It is, holy shit. There's a difference between looking straight up and going, whoa, that's tall, versus looking out and not being able to see the horizon. It is a completely different energy, and I think they nailed that for this one. So that's probably the biggest difference I could say from this one to those other ones, is that this one sounds like you're looking out and the other ones feel like you're looking up, and it is a completely different scenario in the mind and in the sound design of what you're trying to do. Getting that scale requires you to hit different marks in order to make that clear to the listener, whereas when you're looking up, you want something to feel intimidating, like you are going to be crushed by it. It is a completely different energy from, wow, that is a lot of space. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've played video games, you've played an adventure game where you're just like, wow, this is gorgeous. This has so much land for me to visit and explore, and I don't know where to start or how I'll ever be able to find the end of it. Is there an end? Will this go on forever? And you don't know, But versus that whole looking up thing and just saying, holy shit, that is an immediate threat and it's going to step on me. Completely different energy. And this has that scale outward, not upward. And it's really cool that they can play to that distinction and make the song work for it to create that difference in feel. But I think I've yapped enough for this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you have something else from NIKKE you want me to get to, by all means drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, maybe you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!